Welcome back, everybody, to another video with Kyle Chris. And today we are going to be going over another anniversary deck, support deck, whatever, coming out next month, I believe, in October. So this is going to be the Black Demigra deck. This was the original Wormhole deck. Being able to overwhelm on two separate occasions on the same turn is a very good skill. That's essentially what the Unison, the Demigra Unison, was based off of, was this leader, which is really cool. So we'll go over the archetype. Initial opinion on this deck is I find this deck to be incredibly fun. I played the shit out of this deck when it came out. Well, when I got into the game, this was a decently popular black deck. And we had a tournament promo that came out. It was a Turles card. Pairing that with the Universe 3 archetype, you're able to play all this stuff out for free. It was crazy. You could really do some damage with this deck. So we'll go over the leader, and then we'll go over the archetype. This deck got two pieces of support. Two pieces of support. Okay, I think two. Yeah, it's two or three. It's two. It's two. I got it. So Demigra, when you attack, you burst top 3 cards of your deck. Then if all those cards are black, you draw one. So you essentially just can't run any non-black cards, but we don't run Chomp anymore because it's banned. So it's only a card you would probably fit into this deck. What's cool about this deck is that it is a restand 2 on 4 life, so you can really get aggressive and, you know, overextend essentially. Leader has Wormhole, meaning you can activate Overwhelm and Dark Overwhelm twice per turn. That does not mean Overwhelm and Dark Overwhelm. You can activate Overwhelm and Dark Overwhelm collectively twice. When the card attacks, draw. Activate main, plays with 3 cards in your warp in the drop area. So essentially like the Goku Xeno effect, just not as good because you don't draw off of it. So we have 4 Toa calling the hordes. Searches out unisons, we don't care, but it searches top 5 for a demon realm that costs 3 or less. Or an android, a black android, which depending on if there's any good black android support that comes out. We're not going to run any of the Finn cards. They're not very good. And then there's one Mira Overwhelm that your leader has to be Toa, so this doesn't even matter. But we play this because we want a card that we can use to Z-charge early, because we want to get some energy for Z-charging later on in the game, because it does actually play a big role. And this card can basically cycle itself. We have 4 Toa Dark Demon Realms Madness, and then you have the Umbral Might Toa. This is the combination you play generally in any Demon Realm deck now, because you have the Z Battle card that you can play Toa for 1, technically for 1, and then swap into this guy. So you're swinging 20k crit, swinging 20k crit, then warping a card, and then you're swapping into this for free to draw the card and then swing twice. So for 1 energy, you're getting 3 swings, which is very good. All right. So then we have lost my train of thought there for a second. Demigra, Demonic Overlord. This was support that came out a really long time ago that impacted this deck a lot. And more so probably the Toa Expert deck or Anniversary deck that came out. This card, so you activate main, tap 2, you burst 2. If your leader is this leader or Toa, you place this card from the drop. Choose up to 1 or 2 life, add them to your hand, and then play Gravy and a Poutine card from your deck or your warp. I believe. All right, there we go. So this is one of the Demigras, or the Gravies you can play. I just wanted to show this card because I didn't feel like going back through and reorganizing this again, because I think that's kind of dumb. DBS Deck Planet, we need to change that. All right, so this is one of the Gravies you can play. When this card attacks, you may warp 1 card from your opponent's drop, or they warp a card from their drop at battle card. If they don't, this card gets 15k until the end of your opponent's next turn, so it becomes a 30k body. That stays a 30k body, so unless you're playing against yellow, this card's going to be pretty difficult to remove. By swinging into it, you're going to have some sort of spot removal. And then we have the new Demon God Poutine Gravy. Henchman Strength. Dark Overwhelm for 1, we don't care about that. Limit 1 when this card is played, draw 2 and discard 1 card from your hand. Then, place a Z energy in the drop when this card attacks, you warp a 6 or less. Why this is good is that this card counts as Poutine. So, we can Demonic Overlord into playing this guy and playing this guy, which is really cool. So we can cycle a 20k body that's going to draw us 2 cards, cycle 2 cards, and then we're going to play a 30k body for 2 energy. It's pretty good. And take 2 life. So, yeah, it's very, very good. You also can play these from the warp as well, as I said before. So if you are running an Overwhelm, which you should run Overwhelm in this deck, you can go on turn 2. You can go Overwhelm Swing. You can go you can go Overwhelm, or you can go Overwhelm, Demonic Overlord. So that's a swing off the Overwhelm, a swing off your leader, and then a swing off of this 20k, and then a swing off of this 30k. And if that takes you down to 4 life, then you can Awaken and then play 2 more things. You just can't. You can use another one of these. So if you want to continue to dig, you can do that as well, and you play out another 20k, another 30k. Unfortunately, you won't be able to do the draw effect again on this, but that's fine. 2 Poutine the Dark Sorcerer. This is some tech you can use technically. Top effect doesn't matter because your leader's not yellow, but we can play it off of the Demigra, of course. It's barrier unique. When your opponent plays a battle card by a skill or they counter, you can tap something down. So what's nice is that, especially since this is an aggro deck, we can use this to tap down tokens or bigger blockers that our opponent plays, or things that they might try to stop us with on defense. So this is good just for you to do that. Obviously, we have some removal in the deck, like Toa and some other Z battle card stuff. So you can actually just remove a lot of stuff, but it's just nice to have. And it's just kind of cool that you can play this in the deck. We have 4 of the Poutine Umbral Might. So you can play the card off of the Demigra as well, but you don't get the top effect to play the token. So this is kind of one of your Overwhelm cards. You can play the Dark Overwhelm, plays a token. You can pop a token in the battle step to draw a card, restand this, and then it gains 10k for the battle. It does have blockers. So you can swing with it for 15, pop the token, restand, go to 25, and then hold it up for defense. Or you can just play it for defense and then block with it, tap, restand it, go to 25, use it as a double blocker. It just kind of depends. You have a lot of utility with the card. 2 Frigid Blast Poutines. This card you use to grab a Demigra that costs 4 or less, so you can use it to grab the Demonic Overlord. We have 4 Vegeta Super Combos. We have the new Demigra Toki Toki in hand, so this is another card you can grab off of this old Poutine card here. There's also a Dark Overwhelm 3, so you also can play this off the Overwhelm as well. This is another Dark Overwhelm card. So if your leader is Demigra, this is the new card, by the way. If your leader is Demigra. If your leader is a Demigra cards, it's fine, Bandai. Auto in this card is play from your hand, draw 1, and place up to 1 card from your warp in your drop. So you can basically cycle back a card. So it's like a small version of your leader effect. So you're drawing a card, and you can cycle 1 card back for Overwhelm. Exit main, tap 2, black. If you have 3 or more energy, and you send this card to your warp. Play up to 1 7-cost Demigra from your hand, drop, or warp. That card gains double strike and barrier. For the turn, you can't play battle cards other than black battle cards for the turn. So why this is good if we can use this really old card that has never really been good. Dark Overwhelm for 4 energy, it's not good. For just the 30k body, when this card is played, you warp one of your opponent's battle cards, then choose up to 1 card from your warp that costs 4 or less and play it. A lot of different things here. So if you look at a lot of the cards we have in the deck, you can play literally any card that you see here in front of you, right? So what's cool about this is, so it just says play the card, right? So like you can use it to play one of these, right? Those cards play from your hand, right? Well, you can't play from the hand, right? Like you don't get that effect. You have to play from the warp. So you can play this card. You can play your super combos, which I believe can be comboed as long as this card is comboed. So you can actually replay super combos. That's pretty cool, right? You can use it to play the Toa, which will warp something and gain 5k, and then you can swing and go into the Umbral Might, right? You can play this guy. When this guy's played, you draw 2. So if you don't have it already, and if you haven't played it this turn, you can play that. You can play this guy. When you play this, you can grab a Demigra, so you can draw a card. Like there's a lot of different variables you can do with this, but it's basically 2 energy now instead of 4, and it's playing 2 bodies and warping something. That's pretty solid for a 2-drop. We have Time Regulator. This is another one of your Overwhelm cards. You can also switch this out with Poutine and just go up to 4 with this. You draw 2, warp a card. You want some of these cards in the warp so you can use your Demonic Overlord, so that's okay. 3 Powers Awakened. You get a lot of stuff in the good old warp, so from your Overwhelm. So this guy's going to be live. 20k dual attacker. Resets your drop. 3 Support of the Dark Empire for tokens. 2 Petrification. 1 Evil Saiyan Malice Made Flesh. This is your Secret Rare. Since we are running a bursting deck, you're not going to run any of the Black Secret. It just doesn't make any sense. And then 2 Son Gohan Hostile in Saiyan Encountered for your defensive cards. rounds out the main deck here. Then for the side, we have 2 Majin Buu Pure Destroyers, 2 of the Toe Unpredictable Offense, so we can go into our Toa Chain, 1 Dimensional Fighter Spirit. I felt like having 2 1-drops that cost 2 Z energy. Like, I know literally all of these cost 2 Z energy, right? You can, if you so choose, I've been finding, you know, swapping out a Majin Buu for a Goku. Some people really still like sticking with the Majin Buu. That's completely up to you preference-wise, but obviously you're going to play 1 or 2 of each of those cards. The new first Kamehameha Mighty Blast. This is a staple in every black deck that has been announced from the Anniversary Box. You can put 3 black cards from your Warp in your drop. You give one of your cards 10k, so it's a 10k buff. Or activate battle. You pop some Z energy and you pop this card. You give a card 10k and you warp up 5 or less. This is on either turn, so your opponent can't hand dump on like a 5 or less that doesn't have barrier. Because then you can just use. I'm pretty sure you can just use his effect. Yeah, you can use his effect on it. And then we have 1 Demon God Demigra, Begrudging Ally. This is going to allow you to gain some more value off of your Overrealm. So, for instance, if you have this guy on board and you Overrealm, you'll draw a card off Demigra and warp something, and then you can, let's say you play Trunks, you're going to draw 2 and warp 1, so you're going to cycle 3 cards, right? Or if you play a card from the warp, right? So let's say you use Demonic Overlord here, right? You play a card from the warp. So let's say you play like this card from the warp, right? You'll draw 2 cards off this and discard 1, and then you'll draw the card off this. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean this you get the same effect off of this Demigra when you play something from the warp. So you'll play this, you'll warp a card, play a battle card, and then this will draw you a card and then warp something else. So like you have a lot of cool technique with this deck. It's very glass cannon. It kind of does one thing very, very well, and as long as we have so many floodgates in the game right now, like I didn't include Super Kamehameha in here because that's something you would probably side, especially since the best of 1, you just throw it in the side deck. Probably side out like Petrifications and some other stuff, like these Poutine cards. So that's if you want to kind of optimize it, but this is just a good starting point. As always, these decks are not made to just be copy and paste, go play it in a regional. These are kind of just simple builds you can kind of look at and go, okay, this is kind of an idea what the deck looks like, and then I can change stuff to kind of fit my own agenda there. So that is the video for you guys. Overall, the content of the deck I really like. I think this deck is very underrated. We got a ton of Demon God support through this Anniversary Box, which is like the first time ever that Demon God seemed to be just as powerful as the Saiyan Black Archetype Saiyans. Obviously, like a lot of that is due to Mechikabura just being like cracked out of his mind now. But Demon Gods have finally been getting some good support that's not very janky, like we have been getting for years. So this is a good sign. This is a very, very good sign. So, but let me know what you guys think of the deck down below. Comment and subscribe. Of course, I'll always love to support. For everybody who does support, for anyone who doesn't support, you're probably not watching the video anyways, so it doesn't matter, right? So thank you guys again for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.